hours, minimum temperatures of 10 to 13 degrees. And now you're up to date on News Talk.
Off the ball. This is News Talk.
Hello there, you're welcome along. Now, Derek McGrath is one of the more interesting people we get to speak to in our line of work, and he is in studio this evening as we continue our build-up across All-Ireland final week. We will be keeping a very close eye on Liverpool-Chelsea in the Super Cup all the while. Dan McDonnell in studio. Tom English is going to join us on the football show. Celtic once again, fourth time in 6 years, have faltered in Europe. No Champions League football for Celtic once again. Rory O'Connor will come to studio. Joe Schmidt has made 3 more cuts to his World Cup squad. 53106, the text number. We are at Off the Ball on Twitter. Richie McCormack, as ever, alongside me. Hello.
Hey, Joseph.
And Dan McDonnell. Hello.
Hi, Joe.
You were an eyewitness account at Tallaght Stadium last night as Dundalk made their own European exit. They would have left Bratislava 1-0 down. Very disappointed with the first leg. Felt they could have got more out of the game. Was last night a more comprehensive defeat?
It sort of was, I guess, although, I mean, on stats, chances, corners, etc., they actually had more. But
that horror show of a second goal for Celtic.
Yeah, it's actually worse on the highlights than it even was at the ground. I mean, they were 2-0 down at half time last night, so that was game over.
Yeah.
And I think they probably felt that Bratislava would score, so they'd need to score 3. But the second goal killed them. So they had a lot of chances in the game, but Bratislava, to be fair, probably when they got 2 up, they sat back a bit. Their keeper had a great game. He saved a penalty.
Yeah.
The game could very easily have finished 2-2 last night. I think that probably wouldn't have been unfair, but that was with a degree of comfort for Bratislava that they were in control. So they were never really in control of the game. Like, people who remember Dundalk maybe 3 years ago, their best performance, and it's probably unfair, they're always going to be compared to that, but that's just life, unfortunately, because it's a reference point and a lot of the same players are still there.
Well, Vinnie Burt before the game last night was saying that this is their best ever squad, so he's inviting those comparisons to a degree.
Yeah, and like those games, I mean, they were good to watch, and people remember they were attacking and so on, but they were also pretty controlled. Now, they didn't lose a game during that run by more than 1 goal, with the exception, I think, of the Legia game and the Aviva, which was like a very late goal, and there was a contentious penalty in that game. They were a bit more open. They really went for it last night early, and they were exposed by a very good counter-attacking side. So maybe Bratislava were maybe even a bit better than they thought.
Okay.
But I don't think they can argue with the stage at which they went out of the competition. It's not a hard luck story. They could have done better if they'd played better. But Irish clubs generally this year broadly have sort of gone out where you would expect them to go out. So I think they need to do more. Like, I mean, I was doing a piece for the paper tomorrow. You look at, say, Celtic and Dundalk, and obviously they're on a very different level, but there probably is parallels to a degree in the sense that, like, they're both reasonably dominant in their own patch, at home, and they get tested in European matches in a way that they just don't get tested week to week. Some of the mistakes that Dundalk made last night, they wouldn't get punished for those mistakes here, but they get punished for those mistakes by better players. It's pretty simple.
There's a really good thread, I don't know if you saw it, Matt Devaney, who was former president of Bohemians. He was basically saying that focus on establishing a vibrant, strong domestic league where the key principles of the stakeholders in the league is to make it as collectively strong as possible, and the structure is not designed to favour a couple of teams, and success of the league is measured in a far more substantive metric than a couple of results against teams that are usually far better resourced. So that effort of using the European games to measure where Dundalk or other League of Ireland teams are is probably a bit outmoded now at this stage. The whole structure itself needs to be brought up so that there isn't this case of a couple of teams dominating and then going out and getting hockeyed earlier in Europe than we would have anticipated.
Yeah, it's true though, but the problem is, I saw Matt's comments and they're very fair, but I was out in Azerbaijan a couple of weeks back for the Dundalk game against Karabakh, and sort of great experience, but chatting to a couple of people there, and the whole vibe was, well, football in Azerbaijan isn't very good, but Karabakh are very good, and that reflects the situation in a lot of the small countries in Europe. It's the same team within the league every year in a lot of these. Like, it's the same teams, Karabakh, Bate. You look at the results last night. It's the same cast of characters, Rosenborg, that are Maribor. They're winning their leagues every year.
They're winning the leagues every year, but they're also freakishly resourced. Like the Karabakh budget or the Bate Borisov budget or whatever comparable teams you would have around, especially around Eastern Europe, their budgets are way, way above what Dundalk or what
it's miles ahead. But the problem is that I don't think a situation where all our clubs get better together and that will lead to success in Europe. it's idealistic. I'm not sure if it's 100% realistic, in the sense that we might need to make inroads in Europe. You might always need to have one or two clubs that are stronger than the rest, but that's possibly not a very good model. It's not one that's going to make people come to grounds, and that's and it's a debate. But I mean, Celtic faced that in Scotland too on a larger scale. How do you keep freshening things up when you're so dominant domestically?
This extra European competition, Pat Fenlon was going on about it loads. I think it was in the first leg against Bratislava, or maybe in the previous round for Dundalk against Karabakh, where you're basically saying that this next tier of European competition, when it's brought in
2021,
will actually favour Irish teams more.
But it would mean that if Dundalk lost last night, they would go into another competition and get a chance to get into that. So you can actually, the champions can lose 2 ties and maybe get into a group stage football, but we'll see.
Lads, says Eddie.
Here we go.
Eddie.
Why is Celtic being knocked out of the Champions League being treated as news? It's a nothing club from a nothing league. Most of us don't care. And then pedantic text in, though I kind of grudgingly like it, even though it's me, it's having to go at. Last year, everyone faltered in the Champions League except Liverpool. Even unbeatable Man City faltered. Although when he said except Liverpool, he spelled it ACCEPT. So I'm having that one back. If he's going to be that pedantic with me, I can go back with him. He's brought me down to his level, or her level, who knows.
You're a fun guy to debate with, Joe.
He's the one who
he had a pop at you. Like, he really got under your skin, that message, didn't he?
Really did.
Yeah. This is going to trouble you.
Everyone faltered. It is true, except Liverpool, everyone did falter. Celtic, 4th time in 6 years. I suppose it's not earth-shattering news, but it just really puts them in their place, I suppose. Though they are going for 9 league titles in a row, the record equaling number, and then next year, the magical 10.
But that is the one that...
down Rangers' throat. Tom English was saying, we'll speak to him after 9 o'clock, that things are really ramping up now. There is a toxic enough atmosphere, as Rangers fans desperately don't want this to happen, and Celtic fans just can't wait to ram it down their throats.
Rangers are also starting to get pretty good again.
Yeah.
They hammered Hibs at the weekend, 5 or 6-1.
They were within 12 points the year before last, 9 points gap last year under Gerrard. So there's a level of desperation here to try and close this gap as quickly as possible.
And there's a gap that's been opened up between managers Celtic-wise, because I don't think there's any real doubt that Brendan Rodgers is a better manager than Neil Lennon.
It seems to be the sense, all right. So Tom English on the way after 9. We will have Derek McGrath in studio after 8 o'clock, and we'll start the newsround now. Rory O'Connor in this hour. Richie, David Gough has been confirmed. This news came out today.
Yeah, he will take charge of the All-Ireland football final meeting of Kerry and Dublin at Croke Park on September the 1st. The Slane official will be refereeing his first senior decider, having refereed the minor football final in 2015. A number of the current Kerry squad played in that win as well for Kerry over Tip. Gough has taken charge of games involving both Kerry and Dublin this year, most recently the Dubs Super 8 win over Cork in July. He also looked after Peter Keane's first league game in charge of Kerry back in January when they beat Tyrone. The mooted appointment of Gough had attracted criticism from former Kerry manager Eamon Fitzmaurice and the ex-Kerry player Aidan O'Mahony, as the referee lives and works in Dublin. He'll have Conor Lane and Barry Cassidy running the line, and Tyrone's Sean Hurson as the sideline official, and his umpires on the day completing a family affair will be Dean Gough, Eugene Gough, Stephen Gough, he's spotting a theme here, and Terry Gough, all of whom are from the Slane Club as well.
Are they family? I'm guessing
I
family.
presume so, yeah. Yeah, it doesn't say so on the official.
It's a really shocking coincidence if they weren't.
Amazing if they weren't, yeah.
It was a controversy with a small c, but it rumbled on for a good 24 hours there anyway.
It's planted a little seed there. It's the kind of thing like Jose Mourinho. It was a couple of years back. Who was casting aspersions over Anthony Taylor refereeing a game because he was from the Manchester area, and therefore he was. He would naturally be disposed towards that. Or even at the Dundalk game last night, there was one of the local lads who's a bit of a character who was looking at the team sheet before going, this referee's from Austria. That's pretty close to Bratislava, because obviously this person is going to be really strongly disposed towards Central Europe. This is his brethren, his people,
mainland.
His people. So that mindset exists, but it's planted a little seed there now. It's really harsh, I think. Anyway, I don't know. You've probably discussed this across the week.
Well, we did a piece on it last night where we were very much on Gough's side. I would hold our hands up and say that. But I think the burden of proof has to be on the people who are saying that the guy deemed most deserving of the job shouldn't get it because he lives and works in Dublin. I think the burden of proof is on them, I felt. So I kind of took sides a little bit. A few people said it was wrong, but I put out a load of facts as to why there's no issue with David Gough taking a Dublin game. It does, and in doing so, we contributed to the furore.
You add into the noise. I did see someone make some constructive points that I think he does seem to have some kind of checkered relationship with Kerry in recent years. So
it's a bad-ish decision
it's more
in 2016, which he apologised for and said, I just didn't see the incident. If I had seen it, I would have obviously acted differently. I am sorry.
Referee makes poor
If
decisions.
it just comes down to if it just comes down to some sort of 1 point decision now, can you just imagine?
No.
This
Meath man David Gough has been quietly working away and keeping his Dublin allegiance tucked under his shirt, waiting for the day where he could take it out on Kerry. That's what's been going on.
It's a status thing, but I mean, most Irish people generally begrudge and don't want their neighbours to do well. But obviously, in this instance, this is
Stockholm syndrome.
This is a different thing. Like, I mean, most people, what percentage of the country live and work in Dublin?
A few people have made the point, surely as a Meath man, he shouldn't be doing a Dublin game because he hates Dublin.
That's going to go the other way now.
Yeah.
Well,
Richie.
I was saying that.
He has the game. It will be fine. Famous last words. God, I really hope it is fine now. I really hope there's no big tough decision shoving the back in the last minute to
The
deny
customary
the
19-point win for Dublin, I think, will be.
Wow. So there is an Irish element to the Super Cup story this
There's
year.
actually a couple of Irish elements to tonight's affairs in Istanbul. Wexford official Michelle O'Neill is going to help make history tonight. She's part of the first all-female team of officials to take charge of a major European game. She's running the line for the UEFA Super Cup final meeting of Champions League winners Liverpool and Europa League holders Chelsea. Liverpool manager Jurgen Klopp feels the all-female team is a positive development.
Well, my answer would be finally. I think it's time that it happens. So that's how it is. I have not a lot of experience with women referees. We have in Germany, Bibi Steinhauser is doing it, and it took a while until she was considered not by the professionals, more by the referees to be ready. And meanwhile, she's settled. So that's really good, and I'm really happy that we can be part of that historical moment. I think there's so many things in the world out there which we are still obviously not smart enough to make the right decision. So that's a very, very smart decision that we finally can bring a woman to be a referee of a very, very important game and a big game in front of millions of people.
There we are.
Teams are in for that one.
Loving a good referee story tonight, Richie. That's 2 for 2.
2 for 2.
Yeah.
And they shouldn't be the story, of course. This is it. They should be. The good officials shouldn't be seen.
So the teams are in. What are we looking at?
Yeah, Adrian, of course, continuing to deputise for the injured Alisson. A back four then of Joe Gomez in for Trent Alexander-Arnold. Joel Matip, who's in for Gomez, obviously. Virgil van Dijk and Andy Robertson. In midfield, the trio of James Milner, Fabinho and Jordan Henderson. While Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain returns to the side, his first start in 16 months. It is for the Ox. He's up in the front three alongside Sadio Mane and Mo Salah. Caoimhín Kelleher is on the bench for Liverpool tonight alongside their standing goalkeeper Andy Lonergan. For Chelsea, Kepa Arrizabalaga starts in goal. The back four of Cesar Azpilicueta, Kurt Zuma, Andreas Christensen and Emerson. Across the midfield, it's Jorginho, N'Golo Kante and Mateo Kovacic, while Christian Pulisic and Pedro flank Olivier Giroud. Kick-off at Vodafone Park in Istanbul is at 8.
Natalie says, Joe rocking the Tom Jones chest wig look tonight. Is there a medallion hiding under that denim shirt, I wonder? There's not, Natalie.
Natalie, if I had one piece of advice for you.
Calm yourself, Natalie.
Just Google Tom Jones Sloop John B. That is a video that will haunt your dreams.
There you go, Natalie. Enjoy that.
Just imagine Joe in the road of Tom Jones.
I'm going to show you the video when we go to the next clip, Daniel.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
Guys, I'm not sure if you've covered this, but any opinions on the Euro 2020 ticket system? Apply online and have to take all tickets allocated or none at all. No idea who will be playing any matches. A ridiculous system, in my opinion, says Joe in Galway. I wasn't aware of that, Joe.
A lot of people got the results for the lottery system last week. And I saw some response where people are sort of blindly applying for tickets, and then when they get them they have to pay for them. So I was talking to a mate of mine who said he had some friend of his who said he's after getting around 80 tickets, and all of a sudden like he's offering anyone interested in a weekend away in Budapest for the quarter-final or something. Right. But you nearly have to do that to try and get your games. Like, so I haven't gone through the process, but I assume a lot of Irish people would have tried to get the games in Dublin on the understanding that if Ireland qualified, they're going to be involved in at least two of them. and you take your chances. But because of the bizarre nature of this tournament that's spread all around the continent, I'm guessing if people went into the latter stages, they've got games now and they've no idea who's going to be playing in them.
Sorry, are you being literal when you say your mate's got 80 tickets?
This was it's a friend of a friend. He made a load of applications and was successful under quite a few of them. I think people get an email back and said, you've made X amount of applications, you've succeeded in, like, it's not 80 tickets for one game.
No, I know.
You know, but it's a spread across the tournament. So obviously put in for loads of tickets, but it actually succeeded. And then when you get them, it's like, right, you have to pay for these now.
I wouldn't think you should be getting 80 with touts knocking around.
It's a good point, but I got the impression this was a legitimate application,
as opposed to an illegitimate application.
Well, I don't know, was there any limit on how many tickets people could apply for?
There should
Seems
be.
like there should be, yeah.
Yeah.
If 80 seems a lot.
And then my ear says there was a limit of 3. So obviously this person must have signed up over around 50 different pseudonym names that I've just outed them.
A lot of email accounts.
It's like the old...
Press the dump button in there.
It's grand. I haven't identified them, so it's fine.
Glenn Whelan then?
Yeah, Glenn Whelan's joined Scottish Premiership side Hearts. The Republic of Ireland midfielder has signed a 1-year contract at Tynecastle. Whelan was released by Aston Villa in the summer, having helped them gain promotion back to the Premier League, and the 35-year-old is now looking forward to his new adventure.
Just when I get the head down and get stuck into things, I've managed to train for the last couple of days with the lads, so got the meet and greet out of the way, but now delighted to get everything sorted out now. The manager's been crucial to get me up here, to be honest. He's shown a lot of ambition where he wants the club to go, so like I said, came up, trained with the lads a couple of days last week, and now I was really impressed. So everywhere I've went throughout my career, I've always achieved what I wanted, and now, like I said, I'm not up here for a jolly up or a holiday. I'm here to improve players if I can and to win games.
Yeah, good on him. Still going well at 35. I do look at Glenn Whelan sometimes and think, oh, poor fella, he's so old. And then I realise my next birthday is 35.
Well, I mean, it's that shocking realisation that give it a year or two. Yeah. I'm sort of there about it. How many outfield players that are older than you are still playing professional football? Yeah. Not very many.
No, it's true. Dan, exciting news, by the way. Off the Ball in association with Cadbury, we're bringing a monster Premier League roadshow to town, September the 4th. Bord Gáis Energy Theatre, Roy Keane and Gary Neville together. An exclusive offer event. Tickets are limited. Tickets go on sale.
The night before the Ireland-Switzerland game, that.
Yeah. What would be your opening question? Just asking for a friend. What would be your opening...
Are you doing this gig?
Myself and Nathan Murphy might be sitting up there.
Do you reckon you'll sleep well the night before? I'm going to say no.
I don't.
That's going to be my prediction.
I don't. It's funny. I saw Keane's face there on an Off the Ball poster promoting this thing on social media yesterday, and it all became far too real for me all of a sudden. And the 10 questions that I really want to ask him, I was like, not sure how they'll go down.
Yeah.
At that moment. Now, they'll need to be asked all the same.
You could say, Roy, I've just got a WhatsApp from Stephen Ward here. I could introduce things. I could get things onto the Irish team.
Hell of an opener.
Pretty quickly.
Yeah.
I don't know how you're going to approach it, Joe.
I hear Dan's mate has some genuine Louis Vuitton bags going at a knockdown price as well, says Danny.
and a watch and some knives as well. Some Penali pens.
Premier League jerseys for 15 quid.
Yeah. Now, watch out, everyone. Kildare football. It's back, Richie. It's back.
Premier League football? Where are you going with this?
Kildare football.
Oh, sorry. I was saying Premier League football. Jack O'Connor is going to become the latest ex-Kerry manager to take charge of the Kildare footballers. The Lily Whites management committee have put forward the Cardiff man for a 3-year spell. He'll follow in the footsteps of Mick O'Dwyer, who led Kildare to 2 Leinster finals and the 1998 All-Ireland final. O'Connor's previously been involved with coaching in Murfield, a club with whom his sons Aina and Cian both still play. And KFM say that no other candidate was interviewed. There were a few interested parties, but none of them got to do the official speaking part. Joey Carberry has been included in the 40-man Ireland squad that will train in Portugal this week. The Munster head half suffered ankle ligament damage in Saturday's win over Italy and is expected to be out for 4 to 6 weeks. John Cooney, Finlay Beelum and Mike Haley have all returned to their provinces. Ireland's next warm-up game is against England at Twickenham on Saturday week. Emma Byrne was on this morning's OTB AM and spoke of Andrew Porter as a potential fit for Ireland this year, but feels the prop needs to get more game time under his belt.
Potentially Porter has it all. He has the physique. He has obviously the athleticism to pull it off, to maybe move himself into a very high position within the game. I simply don't think he's playing enough at a high enough level and he's in the habit of he props. You can tell by a prop, well, build is a factor in this. They call that anthropometry. That's how you're built, tall, small, and so on. But he props with his feet very far back, okay? That's called, I mentioned this before, that's called tent pegging. You know, the way you peg a tent, like you're really far back. And that's really, when you don't have the confidence or skills or experience rather to lower the scrum from the centre of the body, okay? And it's an unstable position. It's grand when you're just going forward, but if you meet teams that are very clever and they spot this on an analysis. If I had a guy who was tent pegging, like the famous guy used to do was a guy called Olo Brown. I don't know if you remember him. He played for New Zealand, phenomenally strong prop, but he was very versatile. He could change it up, but he used to bring his feet far back. So there's two ways to lower the scrum. I mentioned toilets have to bring it down. One way to bring it down is to bring your feet really far back, because that brings the scrum down. The other is to bring your feet under your hips and then lower your hips, which is a much more stable position. And that's where you kind of, the modern top-level tight heads are able to do that. So Andrew's probably not experienced. He's bringing it back to bring the scrum down, which is grand just driving forward. But as I said, things are worked angles. And if you have a guy who does a whip wheel, the whip wheel is a reverse wheel. Now, this is very subtle. This is not overly obvious on a TV situation, but you can feel it if you're in there, is if a guy pulls you forward and then you come off that base, your rear feet are so far back you're going to fall literally on your face. Yeah. But you don't actually, you just move, you fall forward. But suddenly you scramble to bring your feet forward to restabilize yourself, and then they come back at you really quickly, and you've no base, and then you're destroyed. So you're vulnerable in that position, and plus you're vulnerable to dropping the scrum, because when you're really far back, you can't. If the loose head goes down, you just flop with him.
That full interview is worth checking out now. To be one of the great things in sports analysis is Emmett Byrne talking about the scrum.
His intricacies about prop play in particular this morning were amazing.
Yeah, amazing. You realise how those of us who've never been anywhere near a scrum know nothing about the technicalities, and he's just encyclopedic. He's brilliant and explains quite technical stuff, I think, in a quite accessible way. So that's worth checking out, that full video.
I find it hard to focus on that because Richie showed me that Tom Jones video.
Well, a lot of people seem to have abandoned our radio show. I'd say the YouTube.
Don't do that.
The YouTube viewership, I'd say, plummeted in the last 2 minutes.
Sorry.
I just checked out the Tom Jones video. Thanks. There'll be no sleep for me tonight. Every time I close my eyes, I see him, says Sean the chef in Moy.
Tom Jones, Sloop John B. It's going to get you through the night.
Just watch the Tom Jones video, Scary Biscuits, says somebody. We have a still of it there. There you go.
Oh, look at him. He's there. Beautiful. He's there in the old budgie smugglers.
He's on a boat of some kind.
He's on a boat.
Joe, you're going on holiday soon. You can recreate this scene and send it back.
White budgie smugglers. Boom. That's you, Joe. Chest rug out.
He's in good nick there, Tom Jones.
That was in the 70s, I think. But Tom Jones, still in good nick for an older gent.
I see him the odd time on The Voice.
Yeah.
And I quite like The Voice. I mean, I don't particularly like it, but what I do quite like about The Voice.
Don't be ashamed to say you like it, Joe. You like it. You like it. You clearly like it.
No, I don't. Genuinely. Look, I've admitted to liking a lot worse, so I'm being honest here.
You were the Love Island correspondent on The Hard Shoulder. It's what got you the presenting gig.
Yeah.
Did he really do that?
You did, yeah.
I did actually do that. It's a crazy summer.
Mid-market Molloy is on the way.
No, back to school is just around the corner.
I do. That's the one.
Can see the future.
What I do quite like about The Voice is Tom Jones is one of the judges. So if somebody comes on and sings a song that they quite like, the judges get up and belt out a number for them.
Well,
yeah. So sometimes you'll have someone come on and sing a song, and I mean, it's rarely a Tom Jones song, but it might be just something, or Ollie Murs is on it as well. He'd be like, "Oh, Tom, get up and sing this one with them." And Jones will be like, no. But then someone will say, go on. And then 2 seconds later, he's up and ready to go. So Tom Jones will go up on stage and sing a number halfway through, and it's kind of cool. Still voicing fine fettle.
He's got the pipes as Tom Jones.
Where would you, I mean, even you, Richie, would you like Tom Jones?
I love Tom Jones.
Yeah.
What's not to love about Tom Jones?
I don't know. It's just you seem to be a major snob when it comes to music.
You just never know.
Joe,
I just never know.
You like the Eurovision, but he likes the Eurovision.
Look at my bleeding t-shirt, for God's sake. What's that say?
ABBA.
There we go.
Do you like the Beatles?
Yeah.
Okay.
Who doesn't like the Beatles? Don't trust somebody who doesn't like the Beatles.
I just don't know. You could have said no there.
Don't trust somebody who doesn't like the Beatles.
You're the kind of person, when I talk to about music, I could say something that I would have thought would not be in any way controversial, like the Beatles are good, and you could roll your eyes and go,
no, it's just it's not.
You know what I mean?
I know it.
I don't think I've ever scoffed at anything you've liked. I've often been surprised at stuff you don't know. You being alerted to the fact that a band called Suede existed a couple of years ago was just monumental to me. He didn't know.
I often wonder where Joe was for large parts of his teenage years.
Not only that,
cultivating that chest rug. That's where
I've forgotten the Suede conversation. I've just rediscovered them all over again this evening.
There you go.
So there you go.
Tom Jones.
I just discovered them.
Right.
All the greats.
Let's move on. What are we talking about?
Tom Jones, Budgie Smugglers.
Joey Carby, is it next?
No, we did that. Sam Bennett has completed an incredible hat-trick of wins on the Binkbank Tour in Belgium. The Bora Hansgrohe rider won today's third stage in a photo finish from Dylan Groenewegen. Bennett will go into tomorrow's fourth stage with a 20-second lead on general classification. It's a hilly stage through the Ardennes. He leads over both Groenewegen and Jasper Philipsen. The Carrick Sure sprinter says his 11th stage win of 2019 has been quite an incredible year for him. Came in trying circumstances.
I think somebody touched my bike in the last corner and they broke it a little, and the gears were jumping like mad, so I couldn't throw the bike around. I was just trying to keep myself solid, and the gears were just skipping, so I couldn't get the power down, and I got a run at I can't remember who it was. UAE was in front. I got a run at him, and if it wasn't for that, I don't think I would have got it. So I was really lucky today. I tried to make the bike as long as possible in the final, but that was enough to get it today, so I'm really happy with that.
Last story, we're going to have Dermot McGrath after 8 o'clock. This may be of concern.
Yeah, Peter Quealy's emerged as frontrunner to replace Padraig Fanning as Waterford hurling manager. The 2002 Munster champion as a player was a contender for the post in 2013 when he lost out to the aforementioned McGrath. If appointed, Quealy's likely to have Dan Shanahan return to the fold as part of his backroom team.
OK, Dermot McGrath on the way after 8 o'clock. We're talking rugby with Rory O'Connor next.